All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baharakak. All right, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, with peace and salutations to the whole four elect, pushing this gospel amongst the four winds with truth and sincerity. To you, I say shalom. All right, this is your brother Parathon. Another lesson. I'm going to open up with Sirach chapter 9 and verse 15 on down, right? So it reads, now there was found in it a city, a poor wise man, and he by his wisdom delivered the city, yet no man remembered that same poor man. Now in the verse 14, it goes into, to give a context, there was a little city and a few men within it, and there came a great king against it, and he besieged it, and he built great bulwarks around it, right? In this same city was a poor wise man found, who by his wisdom delivered that city. But no man remembered his name. No man remembered who he was. Why? Because he was poor in the eyes of the world. Let's continue reading. It says, then said I, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. Right? Let's continue reading. Because that's facts. Wisdom is better than strength, and we're gonna go into some scriptures, Lord willing. You know, going into how there are two different definitions of wisdom, man. Let's continue reading. It says, the words of wise men are heard in quiet more than the cry of him that ruleth among fools. Right, so you gotta have that ear, right? The eye salve. You gotta be given that spirit ultimately, because that's heavy. It says the words of wise men are heard in quiet more than the cry of him that ruleth among fools. So a foolish king just blabbering all rap, running his mouth, talking shit, or whatever the case may be. But these parables are louder when spoken, and only the wise can hear them. All right, it's verse 18. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroyeth much good. So wisdom is better than weapons of war. Let's go to, I just thought of a precept. Shalakia. Man, come on, man. Brothers know where I'm going with it. It's 2 Corinthians 10 and 4. Let's jump to that. Because we know that Esau's blessing is the sword, and he rules with it. Our blessing is more so spiritual. Our blessing is the understanding, right? Having the understanding of this truth, of this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to navigate through this world, man, through this wicked world. Being wise as serpent and harmless as doves, man. Knowing that the vengeance is the Lord's and not ours. You know, we just got to just chill. We got to be patient, right, in this lower state. As I went in my last lesson, this is 2 Corinthians 10. Hey, and I'm always going to read up and give these scriptures context, man. So if you don't feel like listening, you lack the patience, hey, you could watch something else or just turn that playback speed on 1.5, man. Right? It's 2 Corinthians 10:1, pointing 4. Now I, Paul, myself, beseech you by the meekness and gentleness of Yahushua of Hamashiach, who in presence and base among you, but being absent and bold toward you. Right? But I beseech you that I may not be bold when I am present with that confidence wherewith I think to be bold against some which think of us as if we were walking according to the flesh. Yeah, this because this truth can be offensive, man. When you walk around with this treasure in earthen vessels, people take offense. They feel some type of way because they don't understand it. Now, we know that knowledge puffeth up, right? But when we're zealous and when we're prideful for the Lord's sake, right, for his name, hey man, we cool. It's just. It says, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that is exalted, that exalteth itself against the knowledge of Yahweh, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Yahushua Hamashiach. So these imaginations and everything that is exalted, every high thing exalted, like this, man, this shit is all bullshit, man. What does that word imagination mean? Let me grab that for edification's sake, man. This fucking Wi-Fi, man, come on. Let this go. Let this word go. Logismos, a reckoning, a computation, a reasoning, such as is hostile to the Christian faith, a judgment, a decision, such as conscience passes. So it's anti-Yahushua, anti the Lord. It's anti this truth. So we walk in the flesh, but we do not war after the flesh. Our weapons of warfare are not carnal, man. They're spiritual, right? We use these scriptures as not only comfort, but it's a shield, right? It's our helmet, right? It's our armor. It's our sword. It's our protection, right? And the name of the Lord is a strong tower in the midst of this chaos, man. Right? So the weapons, hey, our superpower, our spiritual power is this truth, is this wisdom, ultimately. Let's jump to Sirach. Sirach 13. I'm gonna hit this in the NL and the GNT and do both. Sirach 13, and we'll start at verse 20. It says, as the proud hate humility, so doeth the rich abhor the poor. A rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends, but a poor man being down is thrust away by his friends. When a rich man is fallen, he hath many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, and yet men justify him. The poor man slipped, and yet they rebuked him too. He spake wisely and could have no place. So the poor man with wisdom is despised. He has no place here, right? When a rich man speaketh, this is the point. In the precept of Sirach 9:15. And when a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look what he saith. They extol it to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him. And as we read in Ecclesiastes, when he's dead and gone, he's not remembered. Right? It says, verse 24, Riches are good unto him that hath no sin, and poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly. And this is a mindset. It says, the heart of man changeth his countenance, whether it be for good or evil, and a merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance. A cheerful countenance is a token of a heart that is in prosperity, and the finding out of parables is a wearisome labor of the mind. And let's hit that in the Good News Translation. It's verse 21. Sirach 13:21 in the Good News. It says, when a rich person stumbles, his friends will steady him. But if a poor person falls, his friends will have nothing to do with them. When someone rich makes a mistake, there are many people to cover up for him and explain away all the things he should never have said. Right? We call them dick eaters. Yes, men. People that you don't need to be around you. Ultimately, these people is waiting for their right time to overthrow you, to line you up, to backdoor you, to kill you just to have your spot, to walk in your shoes. Right? Continuing in 22, but let someone poor make a mistake. He gets nothing but criticism. Who that sound like, man? That's just, we're Proverbs, we're bywords, Israelites, man. This is the curses. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, Seminole, West Indians, and Haitians. All right, we out here telling our people that we are the people, that we have a kingdom coming. Spiritual power, slaves, and just eternal rest. But it requires change. It requires you to basically kill off who you are and unlearn everything you learned. Take the meat and leave the bone type shit. To starve your flesh. To stop doing the things that aren't conducive for the spirit and that are killing you ultimately. Now, they don't want that. Right, continuing in 22 again, Salakia, even if what he says makes good sense, nobody would listen. And when a rich person speaks, everyone is silent and they praise him to the skies for what he says. But let a poor person speak and everyone says, who is that? They push him down if he so much as stumbles. There's nothing wrong with being rich if you haven't sinned to get that way. And there's a small few, you know who the Lord's dealing with, and who are well off on this side, right? And their walk is their walk. It says, but there is nothing sinful about being poor either. Why? Because being poor don't necessarily mean you broke, right? Being poor is this another it's a perspective from a fool when it comes to, hey, and I'm gonna get that in the BLB. But our poor, we are poor in this world, but we're rich in faith. We're rich in hope, right? We're rich in love of Yahweh Shai.